It's Randy Orton. Oh,
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
Hey guys, what's up? Mr. Vita899 here, and today I'm coming at you with my review of Raw pay-per-view Clash of Champions. I was about to call it Clash of the Champions after the WCW pay-per-view, but technically it's Clash of Champions and not Clash of the Champions, which I think is just stupid. I mean, if you're gonna, like, you know, call the pay-per-view after a WCW pay-per-view, you might as well just go all out and give it the exact name and not add, you know, take away the. I just think, you know, you might as well try and associate this pay-per-view with, you know, a pay-per-view that has lineage. You know what I'm trying to say? I just think, you know, it's. I just don't see why they've done it really, and but anyway, that's not really a big deal. Let's go on to the predictions of the card. There's about 7 matches on the main card and 1 pre-show match. So firstly, let's get into the pre-show match first. Alicia Fox versus Nia Jax will be on the pre-show match. So you know, I kind of like that. It's weird because we don't usually see women's matches on the kickoff or pre-show matches. You know, as pre-show matches, I just, you know, it's very rare. Usually, you have some sort of mid-card feud or mid-card title or tag titles defended. So it's interesting to see a women's one on there. You know, there is some sort of story to this. You know, they had Nia Jax a couple of weeks ago beat that independent local talent. Who apparently is friends with Alicia Fox, and Alicia Fox obviously got mad because she like destroyed her. Then they had a match on Raw, and Nia like speared Alicia Fox through the barricade, which actually looked pretty awesome. It reminded me of, like, you know, in the WWE games when you get like the OMG moment and you like spear them through the barricade. It kind of reminded me of that. I thought that was pretty cool. So they're obviously blowing it off here at Clash of Champions, which, you know, is cool. I'm all for having, you know, multiple women's matches on the pay-per-view, although technically it's not, since it's a pre-show, but whatever. As for who I think is going to win, Nia Jax. I think it's pretty obvious they're building her up to be a contender in the women's on Raw, which is good because I think she definitely talent. Like, you know, she's still quite green at the minute, and her in-ring ability is not amazing, but I definitely think she can get better and grow, and I expect her to go over here. I think it'd be kind of silly to put Alicia Fox over her, if I'm being honest. On to the main card now. So I think firstly we'll look at the final match in the best of 7 series between Cesaro and Sheamus. So the way they've kind of gone with this best of 7 series, if you don't know, is basically Sheamus won the first 3 matches and went 3-0 up, and then Cesaro's kind of clawed his way back to even it up at 3-all. Honestly, my thoughts on the series, it's not been that great. It's not been terrible. Like, the matches have been solid, but there's not really been, in my opinion, any kind of outstanding match. It's kind of been like, oh yeah, that was a great match. They've all been like good matches, and they've all kind of been around the same kind of in terms of quality. So that it kind of, it's kind of, because they've all kind of been just good. It kind of, you know, your kind of enjoyment of the matches are kind of hindered because, you know, the matches are good, but they're not taking it to that next level, which I think is a shame. And I think what really could have been done to help this series is maybe adding some like stipulations towards the end, you know, maybe like no DQ, full count anywhere, and these guys are like brawlers, so I think they really could have done well in that kind of environment. But and so who I think is going to go over, I think Cesaro hopefully will win the series. I think he deserves to win. Personally, I think he's someone who, he's pretty over with the crowd, and, you know, I think and hopefully this means that he'll get a future title shot as well. I think a Cesaro, feud with any of the top guys on Raw, I think could be pretty fun. See some great matches. So my pick will be Cesaro. We have the first ever, well, not first ever, but in a long time, the first time we've had a cruiserweight match on a pay-per-view. Obviously, if we've had a cruiserweight division before, back in the past, but, you know, it's the first time we're getting a viewing of this new cruiserweight division, and it's going to be for the Cruiserweight Championship. TJ Perkins, who won the Cruiserweight Classic, against Brian Kendrick, and obviously, as I said, for the Cruiserweight title. Honestly, and I know this is bad, but I really just, it wasn't I didn't want to watch it, it's just I never really got time to get around watching the Cruiserweight Classic. I saw a few matches here and there, but honestly, I found it hard to keep up with it. And I heard it was really great, and there's some really awesome matches on there, but honestly, I struggled to really keep up with on the matches and stuff. So this, I haven't seen much of T.J. Perkins. Brian Kendrick, obviously, I'd seen him from his run in WWE anyway. I saw a couple of his matches on here on the Cruiserweight Classic, but I'm still I still think this will be a good match. Obviously these guys are both, especially I know Brian Kendrick obviously better, and I've heard T.J. Perkins is a good worker. So this should be a pretty good match. Hopefully it sets the tone very nicely for the new Cruiserweight division. I think my prediction will probably be T.J. Perkins. He just got the Cruiserweight belt. I don't think he's going to drop it to Brian Kendrick. So yeah, T.J. Perkins is my pick for this match. Sami Zayn will take on Chris Jericho. And I think this will be a pretty good match, actually. I think, we haven't really seen much of these two in the ring together, just one-on-one. I mean, they may have had some matches, but I think they have had maybe a couple matches on Raw. But in this kind of, bigger spotlight on a pay-per-view, I think these guys will deliver a pretty fun match. Annoyingly, I think since since Battleground, Sami Zayn has just sort of been directionless, which is a real shame, I think. He got the huge win over Kevin Owens. It was such a feel-good moment in that classic match, and they just sort of had no real direction for him, which I think is a real shame because that was supposed to be like the biggest win of his career on the main roster, supposedly, and they just didn't really do much with him. And I still think maybe they could have put him in a title match against Kevin Owens at this pay-per-view. Obviously, they didn't do that, but I still think this will be a good match, as I said. Jericho, I think, since coming back, has been tremendous since turning heel. He's been one of my favourite guys on the roster. Just so awesome. He's definitely one of my favourite years for Jericho. It's not quite as good as some of his other years, but definitely up there in my opinion. He's been such a great douchebag, really. I think Jericho, as I said, he's just been fantastic, and I love the whole gift of Jericho. Drink it in, man. But anyway. Who do I think is going to win the match? I'm hoping Sami Zayn will go over. I think he needs to win more because he's obviously been directionless, and I think this feud with Jericho could really help him actually kind of push himself a bit up the card. So I'm going to go with Sami Zayn to win here. The New Day defend I guess now it's the Raw Tag Team titles. Now that we've got the SmackDown Tag titles. So I guess, it's the Raw Tag titles. So the New Day will be defending the Raw Tag Team titles against the Club, Luke Gallows and Cole Anderson, and God, can this feud end, please? And it's just been very frustrating. I mean, Gallows and Anderson, when they came in, were I thought they were debuted really well, attacking the Usos. They went over against the Usos, but God, since they've entered the feud with the New Day, they've just become. I just lost all kind of interest in them. I just see them as two dudes now. I don't really see them as anything else, and it's just the Gallows and Anderson just aren't made for kind of comedy, segments. And I think they really should have just tried something a bit more. I don't mind the New Day doing comedy stuff. It works for them, but it has become a bit stale, I will admit. But it's not terrible. But Gallows and Anderson trying to do all these segments like the old day, and oh my God, it's just been painful to watch. I'm hoping that Gallows and Anderson get the belts because. I mean, if they lose, I just think they're really done for. And the New Day's title run has done its course. It was a fine title run, but I just think it should end now. I don't really see who else can really beat the New Day, really, apart from maybe someone like Enzo and Cass, but they've got their own thing going on. So I just think put the belts on Gallows and Anderson, and just be done with it, really. Next, we'll look at the US title match between Rusev and Roman Reigns. And you know what? I mean, I actually think this could be a pretty good match, actually. I know their match, and annoyingly as well, their match at SummerSlam didn't even get started, which I think was just very frustrating. They had a match on Raw the week before, and then they, did the angle of, Reigns attacking before the match. I think if you want to do that, just switch it round. Have that happen on Raw, and then have the match at SummerSlam. But anyway, hopefully we get the match at Clash of Champions. And, I think it will be pretty good, because Reigns is a guy who's had some great matches this year, with the likes of Styles, the Shield Triple Threat with Seth Rollins. He's had some great matches, you can't deny that, and I think him and Rusev I could see actually meshing quite well together. As for who I think is going to kind of, where I see the match kind of going, I mean, I see Rusev leaving with the belt, but I don't necessarily see him winning. I think maybe, you know, some sort of interference, or maybe Rusev gets counted out or DQ'd or some sort of shenanigans, but I don't see Roman Reigns leaving with the United States Championship, in all honesty. So I'm going to pick Rusev to leave the champion. That's what I'll say. The Women's Championship will be defended in a triple threat. Charlotte defends against Sasha Banks and Bayley, in a match that I think could be potentially a show stealer. I wouldn't. This is a kind of sleeping giant. This match, I think it could be an awesome match. Actually, I think it could be tremendous if they do it right. And I think, you know, it's been a weird one because obviously I think the WWE kind of anticipated Sasha being out for a lot longer than first, being out for a lot longer. So they kind of shot Bayley up, the card, had her beat Charlotte and that sort of thing. But then Sasha was obviously, medically cleared by Clash of Champions. So I think they've kind of put this together, this triple threat together, and I think it'll be very good, as I said. As for who's going to go over, I think Charlotte will probably just sneak away with the win. They'll probably do something where probably Bayley will still continue after Charlotte, and then maybe Sasha Banks can feud with someone like Nia Jax. I think that's the direction they'll go. So my prediction will be Charlotte to retain. Now on to the match that I think would probably be the main event for the WWE Universal title. Kevin Owens defending the belt against Seth Rollins. And I think this could be potentially to be a fantastic match. These are two great workers. Owens and Rollins, I think their styles will mesh really nicely, and I think they'll produce a really great match. We haven't really seen much of them in the ring together, so I think that'll be kind of an interesting dynamic to see what kind of match they have. I think it'll be great. And I was really happy, if you follow me on Twitter, you'd know this, that Kevin Owens won the Universal title. I thought it was just the right move, in all honesty. And yeah, I think he's probably going to hold on to the belt here. I think there's no real point in putting on Rollins now. I think you need to give Kevin Owens a fairly lengthy run. Give him that kind of a taste of it at the top, so he can get run with the ball, see what he can do. Because I think Kevin Owens is just fantastic. He's a fantastic heel. He's so great on the mic, so comfortable, and he can just do it all, really. And Seth Rollins, much needed babyface turn. I'm starting to kind of, what I'm liking though is the fact that he's not completely just gone all goody on us now that he's a face. He's still kind of the lines are still blurred a bit, but it's still obvious that he's turned face, in my opinion. I do think Kevin Owens will retain, whether that's due to shenanigans from like Triple H, I'm not too sure. Or maybe Stephanie will turn on Mick Foley and fire him. That could be a potential possibility, but I mean, maybe that will happen later down the line. But as for this match, I think we'll definitely see Kevin Owens retain here. So thank you guys for watching my predictions of Clash of Champions. I think it'll probably be a pretty good show overall, despite not being that hyped for it personally. Give the video a like, comment down below your predictions, follow my Twitter, Ars.fm, subscribe to my second channel. Once again, thanks for watching, guys.